Hello, today we're going to be talking about what is a midterm rental. One of the cool things about real estate that I really love is there's always innovation and different ways to make money on properties and even things that have been in place for a long time. Take midterm rentals, for example. 7 years ago, this term wasn't even heard of, but now it's an amazing strategy to build wealth and make passive income. And I want to show you how. So as we go through this video, I want to help you understand exactly what is a midterm rental and how it differs from long-term rentals and short-term rentals. Secondly, I want to help you understand how midterm rentals came about and who actually takes advantages of midterm rentals. And finally, I want to share with you some little to no money strategies to help you get started in midterm rentals. And also talk about where the next gold mine could be when it comes to midterm rentals. If you're ready, let's go. So what is a midterm rental and how does it differ from a long-term rental or a short-term rental? So a midterm rental is a property that is rented out for a longer period of time than a short-term rental, which is nightly rates 2 to 7 days, but a much less period of time than a long-term rental, which is usually 12 months or more. So typically a midterm rental is that 3 to 4 week period of time. So a midterm rental is typically that period of about 2 to 3 months. It's something that's been around for a while, but it has been coined with the new phrase midterm rentals. So the interesting thing about midterm rentals is it really exploded during the COVID-19 pandemic that we experienced. And why was that? Well, for a number of different reasons. There was a lot of people that wanted to get out of cities, congested areas, so they're willing to go and rent areas for a short period of time, a mid period of time, right? Not something long-term, but something for 2 or 3 months to be able to get away. Also, there was a lot of people moving from one area to another that needed a place to stay for 2 to 3 months until they were able to secure a long-term residence. A midterm rental is that perfect segment that squeezes perfectly between short-term rentals and long-term rentals. Now let's understand, I know we've covered this in other videos, but just briefly, long-term rentals, right, are people that are renting something for a long period of time. These are homes, condos, apartments, people that are staying there with their families or as an individual for at least 12 months. Whereas a short-term rental is also considered a vacation rental. They're coming in for nightly rates. People are visiting, staying there for 2, 3, 4, up to 7, 8 nights, and then leaving. Midterm rentals can fall under a number of different categories, but typically they're residences. That could be a condo, it could be a townhome, it could even be an apartment, but a lot of times midterm rentals are residences. And when I say that, I'm including condos and townhomes. Something nice where people can stay for a midterm period of time. And here's the crazy thing. A short time ago, no one would ever even consider midterm rental. I mean, why would they? Why would they be willing to rent out their home for, say, a month, 2 months, 3 months, when they could get somebody to rent it out for a year or 2 years? Or they could rent it out for nightly rates at a much higher rate and pull in more revenue. People were always trying for that longer lease or the more money from a short-term rental. So why are midterm rentals now a thing and how can you take advantage of them? As I mentioned, one of the cool things about real estate is the innovation. Midterm rentals is fairly new, but if you're able to understand this and learn about midterm rentals, it is something that you can take advantage of, and this segment is only going to grow more and more. So let's understand it. There's an absolute need for temporary housing. In the past, when I've thought of temporary housing, I've always thought about military or people that are attending schools, universities. But with a shifting global economy, we have more of a demand for midterm rentals than ever before. We have businesses that are in need of quality people, quality employees, quality individuals that need to be on site for a certain period of time, or some jobs require that people travel as part of their job and they need a nice place to stay. One thing that I've seen is there's a lot of businesses where their executives or higher ups in the organization are going to travel to different cities where they have a presence and stay there for a period of time, whether it's training, management, or spending time to help with the culture of that organization in that area. And they need a place to stay. Another area that is utilizing midterm rentals is the traveling medical professionals, like traveling nurses. I have a good friend who owns an organization, a company, and they employ nurses. These nurses travel all throughout the United States to train different nurses to help get them up to speed with their processes and procedures. And he is always looking for midterm rentals, places these nurses can stay for a period of time while they go through that training process, whether it's 2 months or 3 months. Just recently, about 4 months ago, I went to the Raleigh-Durham area. And in Cary, which which is right by Raleigh, there is a huge hospital network there. And the market for midterm rentals is exploding there. There is a need for that. And I'll explain a little bit more in detail later on in this segment. Another reason midterm rentals are utilized is homeowner transition. Let's say that somebody is moving to an area and they're looking for a permanent residence. But during that time, they might need a place to stay for 2 or 3 months until they find that place that they're going to call home. So one question I always get asked is, can I get into a midterm rental with little to no money down? So it's always a good question. And I guess here's the answer. The answer is yes, little to no money is possible. You could buy a home in one of those areas that is really good or booming for midterm rentals as a second home. With a second home, you can put as little as 5% down. So that is little money out of your pocket. It's not no money, but it's little money out of your pocket compared to an investment property where you might need 20, 25, or 30% down. Or there's always a creative seller financing model where you purchase a home subject to seller financing, and that could be a sub-2 strategy where you take over the mortgage of the current homeowner, the property is deeded into your name, and you're making payments to the same mortgage company that's been in place for a while. And if interest rates are as low as they have been, and that home is under one of those low interest rates, it could be a great opportunity for you to come into that property with little to no money down, make the current payments with a low interest rate mortgage, and be able to rent that property out as a midterm rental if it's in one of those areas that's in high demand. So how do you execute a midterm rental play? Number one, you've got to think like a professional. If you're a professional, a medical professional, a nurse, an executive, a manager that is going to stay in an area for a few months, what do you want in your home? What ideally would you want? You've got to think in those terms. Obviously, they want good internet. They want a comfortable bed. They want all the amenities they had at home in that midterm rental. So you've got to be able to provide that opportunity, that experience that you would want if you're traveling for a couple of months in your professional career. Number two, you've got to set the home up for staging and pictures. It has to look somewhere that a professional would want to stay, because these are the individuals that are renting midterm rentals. They want a nice thing that they don't have to worry about upkeep or the challenges that come with something that's run down. So having it look nice, having it staged properly is going to give the appearance of a place that requires little upkeep, but a great place to stay that has all the comforts they would expect as if they were staying in their own home, maybe even more. Number three, you need to find the right place to post midterm rentals that will attract this clientele. Probably the most popular place out there to find individuals looking for a midterm rental is furnishedfinder.com. They are the top of the class right now. They boast a 92-day average stay in midterm rentals. They do focus on healthcare professionals, but they're growing into traveling professionals as well. And a lot of times their costs to find a clientele for you, somebody to stay in your midterm rental, is cheaper and less than Airbnb. But there are other places. You can utilize Airbnb. You can also utilize local ads, Craigslist, or other Facebook marketplace ads to find people that are looking for midterm rentals. So finally, let's talk about what areas are good for midterm rentals. As I mentioned earlier, I was in the area of Raleigh, North Carolina, and I thought to myself, this would be a fantastic market for midterm rentals. Number one, it has a large medical network there with hospitals, but also there's the research triangle that is there in the Raleigh-Durham area. And this brings in a lot of professionals in a lot of different areas and requires people sometimes to come and stay or learn for a period of time, about that 2 to 3 month period of time. I think Raleigh is a great market. Plus, there's a lot of people that are leaving other parts of the United States and fleeing towards North Carolina. And Raleigh's a big part of that. Another trio of cities that I've seen, that I've heard have a great healthcare professional network is Denver, Cleveland, and St. Louis. These are areas that have quite a few traveling nurses attending there, medical professionals. It's an area where you could probably find a property at maybe a discount compared to, say, Raleigh, but take advantage of the midterm rental market that's exploding there. A couple others to note is Nashville and Atlanta. There's a fantastic lady that I've worked with over my career, and she really got started with short-term rentals, but moved into midterm rentals. And she found that Nashville and Atlanta were some of the best places to own midterm rentals. And the last one that just seems to make sense is Washington, D.C., right? There's always government officials, government workers that are moving there for a period of time that need a place to stay for 2 or 3 months. Now, this is based off the research that I've done, but I'd love to hear from you. I know some of you have heard about midterm rentals, you've engaged in it, you've done your own research, and I'd love to hear your research. I'm not saying I'm always right, but this is the research that I've done, but I'd love to engage in a dialogue with you, so feel free to comment. Let me know areas that you think are really good for midterm rentals. And as always, I've got a free gift for you. It's aaronsfreetraining.com. It's a short-term rental calculator. You put in the expenses and it spits out to you whether it's a good deal or not. And I hope you enjoy it. Once again, just click on the link below. Thanks for visiting. I hope to hear from you. Have an awesome day.